if you praise God, you also worship the devil. All right, hold on. I know a lot of the religious people are going to go crazy, right? Listen, whatever I'm about to say in this video, right? Do not get upset. It's going to be okay. I'm just a guy talking on the internet, right? But what I'm saying is that if you praise God, you also worship the devil. Now, what am I talking about here? Earlier, I saw a clip of Doja Cat. She was being interviewed, and somebody asked her, I forgot who it was. I think was it Angie Martinez? I can't remember. But anyway, somebody was interviewing Doja Cat. They asked her about what she thinks about people thinking she worships the devil, right? And so she was kind of tiptoeing around the answer. But when I was watching it, I was like, it's interesting that a lot of people don't realize that if they praise God, they're also worshiping the devil, because God and the devil is the same. You understand? See, what you got to understand is everything is one thing, right? When we talk about God, right? God is everything. So if God is everything, and a lot of people who are religious and who believe in God believe that God created everything, God is everything. So if God is everything and God created everything, that means that God also created the devil, right? And what happens is that when we're talking about life on this material plane, right, there's always yin and yang. There's always up and down, left and right. What you would consider good or evil, right? Hot and cold, whatever. There's always that duality. But when you talk about duality, right, all of those things are connected. You don't know hot without cold. You don't know up without down. You don't know smart without stupid, right? So all of these things are connected. So if you have hot and cold connected, up and down connected, left and right connected, God and devil connected, right? So if you praise God, you also worship the devil, right? Because this is the thing. This is what I believe. See, I believe that God is within us. We're all God, right? But what happens is when we talk about God and the devil, right, you could also look at it as, higher and lower consciousness, right? You can look at it as positive and negative, right? But they're still connected. You see what I'm saying? So the problem is a lot of people, for example, they be like, I've seen videos where people question like, if there's a God, why does all this bad stuff happen in the world? Because it's the yin and the yang. Like, it's all connected. Like, he's doing the bad stuff. He, she, whatever it, whatever you want to, call God, right? The universe, whatever. But what you got to understand is that if you're worshiping God, you're also worshiping the devil, because they're interconnected. You see what I'm saying? But see, the problem is that we have this illusion of being separate from other things, right? Even the idea of worshiping God, it's like I'm separate from God, so I'm worshiping this thing outside of me, right? Like I had a lyric in one of my songs where I said, if God is within, how can he be above me? You see what I'm saying? I was listening to a video, I think it was Alan Watts' video, and I'm paraphrasing, and he said this example of like, if you took a white t-shirt and balled it up and dipped it in black paint, right? And let's say the paint represents God, like God is the paint. So you put the white t-shirt in the black paint and you ball up the t-shirt and you throw it against a white wall, right? So that it'll make like a big black stain, but it'll make all these little black marks that splatter everywhere, right? So the little black marks that splatter in everywhere and the big ball of black mark on the wall, all that came from the same source, right? So if the black paint represents God and the wall is splattered with all these separate black pieces of paint, they all came from the same source, right? So that piece of black paint is you, the other black piece of paint is me, the other black piece of paint is your dog, the other black piece of paint is the tree, the other black piece of paint is the devil. It's all the same shit. See, when you are being negative and hating, right, you can consider that the devil within you. When you're being positive and happy and uplifted, right, you can say, well, that's the God. But it's all the same thing. It's all coming from the same source. You understand what I'm saying? So it's the illusion of being separate that causes confusion, right? But understand that if you are worshiping or praising God, you can't do that without adding the devil in. It's all connected.